I wanted to talk about this handgun real quick, and this is a handgun that I used to own, then I got rid of, then I bought another one, this one right here, and I've had this for a little bit. So I just wanted to talk about here in 2021, is this a decent purchase for a self-defense handgun? So this is a Smith & Wesson SD40. They also have the SD9s. And these are, for those that don't know, these are basically the newer, upgraded replacement to the old Smith & Wesson Sigmas, which I used to have one of those years and years ago, and I shot it. And that was kind of a budget type firearm as well. And this is the refined version of that, pretty much. So these things, a lot of people know about them, but some people don't, and they don't realize that this is kind of the budget offering if you can't afford the coin for like a full up M&P model. So these things average right around 300 bucks, give or take. Now the prices may fluctuate right now, being February 2021. So keep that in mind. We have a little bit of a gun panic right now. So looking around, there's a little bit of fluctuation. You may see them for over 300. You may still see them for under 300. It just depends on where you're looking. This one is an SD40. It's a 40 caliber. They do have the 9 millimeters as well. And I wanted the reason I got this is mainly because I wanted a 40 caliber in my inventory. For a little while, I didn't have a 40 caliber, and I wanted to have that inventory. I like to have different calibers. And this ammo buy and gun buy right now is kind of, it's a pretty bad one. Normally in the past, what I've seen is 9 millimeter would go, would be bought up and be sold out, but there would still be 40 available. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted a 40. And then it turns out this time, well, 40 caliber isn't even available hardly. So it's kind of a funny deal. But in any case, so this is a 40 caliber. And, I'm not really going to go over too much, why would somebody want a 40 over a 9 millimeter or anything like that. It's pretty much different strokes for different folks is what it comes down to. But this particular one, it comes with two magazines, and they're 14 round mags. I do have them loaded up here with some golden sabers, and that's just so that way you can hear, and this is common that I've experienced in different magazines, 40 caliber magazines from Smith & Wesson especially. There's a little bit of rattle. And I'll show you in this one as well. There's some rattle as well on that one. And for you safety Nazis, nope, there isn't one in the pipe. But, yep, it's a loaded mag. So, in any case, the mag's rattled. It has no bearing on reliability at all. It's a perfectly fine. There's no issues with feeding or reliability. It is what it is. For some people, that's a concern. For others, it's not. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you worry about that, then there you go. So this is a basic striker-fired gun. And it has basic polymer sights right there, 3-dot sights, basic controls, much like a Glock, like the old Smith & Wesson Sigma. It does have a rail on it. Very basic in nature. These I see a lot of. The two-tone, that seems to be the most popular. They do have a all-black, and they may have some different colors. I'm not sure. I thought I seen some different colors, but I don't know if they're from the factory or if it's aftermarket. Very big slide lock slide release. It does have indexing texturing right there for your off thumb if you wish. Standard rail, standard magazine catch, magazine release, or magazine release rather, not magazine catch. A little Freudian slip there. The sights do have a little bit of a ledge on them, which I kind of like. They're polymer, but it's a good polymer, so you can still use them to do whatever you need to do. The does have a little bit of a viewing port right here, so if you want to look to see if it's chambered, that's common for Smith & Wesson handguns. The sights are dovetailed in, so you can swap them out. You do have front slide serrations. The takedown is pretty much just like a Glock, very simple. There is no unneeded controls. Does have an external extractor right here. And I have yet to find any real issues with these. I haven't experienced anything. In the multiple models that I've owned, no issues. It seems to work good. The gun, not a very heavy recoiling gun. The trigger pull is a little bit heavier than what I'm used to for striker fire, but certainly better. Just to show you the reset. There's your reset right there. It certainly is better than the old Sigma models. Sigmas were just notorious for having that heavy trigger pull. This one is still a little bit heavy, but it's certainly lighter and a little bit more manageable. It's still consistent with its reset. Not as good as the M&P 2.0 triggers by any means. So the internals is just a basic gun. It does have a polymer captive guide rod, and I'll kind of break it apart here and show you the internals here. So there's basic striker fired, very similar to a Glock, nothing special there. Here's your captive guide rod, and then there's your barrel and slide assemblies. So it's a very basic striker fired gun, and the thing I like about it is it's budget priced. So I do that kind of appeals a lot to a lot of different people, from people that can't afford anything as far as a self-defense gun is concerned, or people that have a lot of money for guns but just want a basic gun for either hiking, camping. Truck guns are your thing. They're not really my thing, but if truck guns are your thing, or you're looking for just a basic gun for whatever reason, there you go. So when you find them, as long as you can see them around $300 or less, I think that's a good deal. The magazines are not interchangeable with the M&P models, just so you know. I kind of wish they were. That'd be kind of a cool thing. Smith & Wesson did that, but they don't. So they don't interchange, which is sad. But the magazines aren't that expensive, and they seem to be reasonably plentiful and easy to order. 14-round mags, they're not exactly the biggest magazines on the market, but that's enough firepower in my opinion. And the gun itself is about on par with a Glock 19 as far as the size goes. So it's definitely concealable. It's light enough to conceal rather comfortably, but still have enough size to be, I guess, what you could maybe consider a full-size fighting handgun. So check them out, and keep in mind, this isn't the best deal that's on the market. I'll tell you right now, probably a better deal. If I was to say it's either this or a Taurus G3, I'd say get the Taurus G3. That's just the better deal. But if you just don't like Taurus, or you're looking for more of an American company or whatnot, or just the Taurus models aren't around, this is certainly a good option. And the main reason I like guns like this that aren't overly expensive, there's a lot of people that they're casual shooters. They have firearms for the purpose of self-defense. They go out and shoot it every once in a while to get some proficiency, but they're not big aficionados. They don't want to customize them. They don't want to do all that. About the only thing I'd recommend for this, if you want it for home defense, is throw a light on it. Because I think that's important. But guns like this are perfect just for somebody that says, hey, I'm not a big shooter, but I want to do the responsible thing, protect myself and my family, so I'm just going to get a basic gun and go out and shoot it and learn it, and there you go. This can fulfill both roles. It can fulfill household duty, protection at the home, and you could take the same gun out and you could throw it in an inside the waistband holster or an outside the waistband holster, depending on what your preference is, and use it for concealed carry. So be sure to check them out. These are kind of those guns that go overlooked sometimes at gun stores because they're not flashy. They're just there. It's just a basic gun. And when you put them next to M&P 2.0s and you put them next to HKs and Glocks and 1911s and all that stuff, they tend to blend in. But take a look at them. It's one of those things that's kind of like it's kind of like that saying that Glock is the Toyota Corolla of the gun world. Well, this is a good example. This is a Toyota Corolla, or this is an old used Subaru. They just kind of run. They aren't the prettiest out there, but they just run. So check them out and look in multiple places. I know the pricing is kind of weird these days, and I've noticed that there's a lot of fluctuations. It depends on if you're going to a brick and mortar gun store, it just depends on what their distributor is charging them as far as what their price is, and you may benefit from shopping around a little bit. It seems in my experience that some of at least in my area, the bigger outdoors type stores, the sporting goods stores, seem to have a little bit more consistent pricing than some of the smaller gun stores. And I think that's just because they don't have as much markup on their firearms. I mean, if you have a big store like Cabela's isn't making their money off of firearms. They're making their money off their apparel and a lot of other things. Their firearms are just there. So in any case, check that out. Make sure to do your due diligence. So, all right, that's enough yakking out of me for this video. Feel free to put your experiences, whether good or bad, in the comment section, whether you had good experience or bad experience with these things. And then feel free to check them out. Like, subscribe, you know the whole spiel. And most of all, just be safe out there.